Hi, this is Matt with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and I'm going to try and demonstrate this trade example today. Here, I got my order was executed. Um, the price is closed right back down here where I got entered at, so we'll see what happens here. We had a second entry long. It's kind of hard to see it right here, but make this a little larger. But you can see we're moving to a new high. Let's take this off and get this out of the way. We had this trend working up from this low down here, and this was a pretty strong support down here, and we're kind of in this trading range. So I'm looking for prices to come back up here and test the top of this range once again. Either here, I got this kind of as the minor, and this maybe as the major, and this could turn out to be the major high. Who knows? But either way, I'm looking for prices to make at least another leg up and test this, maybe make a new high. And so we had a new high here. We pulled back. We made a double bottom right at the EMA. We had a second entry long that triggered. We had a little bitty doji right down here. So hopefully we can at least come back to here, and I can scalp out on my major part. And I'm really hoping it runs up here and makes a new high, and I make some money on my runners too. So we'll see what happens. I like the setup. It didn't take off like I expected, but sometimes that happens too. So we'll see what transpires here. All right, here we go. We're moving again. But you can see I had the trend line. I drew it off these first couple of swings here, and that's right where we kind of bounced at. Let me get this off. So we need a couple of more ticks here to get our scalp. Of course, we're going to get resistance here because we had a little high right there. But if we get through that one, hopefully we'll go up here and test this next one. At least get our scalp. And once we get our scalp, if it doesn't go any higher, that's okay too. But we will see what's going to happen. This was a good setup. It's a pullback, two-legged pullback to the EMA. Made a double bottom right at the EMA. It has all the makings of what we like to see in our trades. We had a really nice move up here. Hopefully you got some of this move. I was able to get in at this low down here and make some money, but I'll be honest with you, I let them shake me out right in here, and just before it exploded up. So I missed this move up right here. I'm a little disappointed that I did. Excuse me, but hopefully I'll make it back right here, or I'll make up the difference right here. But I'd rather exit and re-enter than make a mistake and overstay my welcome too. But this was just been a really kind of odd day. It's shaping up to be a trading range day maybe, but this really caught me off guard right here. And I imagine it did some of you too. It surprised me. And I was not expecting this to sell off like this, but all it did was set up a great long opportunity down here. Did I know it was going to come back like this? No, but that's why, we a lot of times we try to do the scalp and run because we don't know. We just, we expect that we're going to at least get a pullback to the EMA and get our 4 ticks. But when prices broke below this little doji right here, I'll be honest, I didn't wait for it to turn higher. I bought right there. So I was long from right here on this trade. And here we are, we're bouncing off our order. Come on. There we go. We got out. We didn't quite tick higher yet, so let's move our stop to break even because I don't want to give any of that back. Actually, I'm going to give it one extra tick because it could come back there real fast. So a lot of times what they'll do is they'll let prices pull back where they can pick up these limit orders that people will drop in when it broke above that little double top right there. And that's how I got in this trade. It actually ticked higher before I could get my order in there, and so I just dropped a limit order in there. Come on, let's go higher here. If we get a measured move, we're probably gonna test this high right up here. So I'm gonna put that up there. I probably won't keep this trade going that long, so we may not get to see this whole thing play out, but we could rock it right up there, but it could take another hour or two to get up there at the rate things are going, so we'll just kind of hold tight. We've already made 8 points, so we made $400, and so we'll see. Now we got our runners going. We'll see what we do on our runners here. But I haven't demonstrated a trade like. I'm sorry, but every time I start talking a lot, this little cough I got, this feather in the back of my throat, comes back, and so I apologize. I'm just probably going to have to pause it every now and then and cough if I'm going to talk. There we go. Now we're at break even. Actually went to break even plus 1. I'm going to put it at break even. So now we're at break even, and I really expect that we're going to get some resistance right here. So if I'm tempted to move my exit order to right here, just for the trade purposes, because that's the next logical place you're going to find resistance. But we might shoot right through there. So I'm kind of, if we get up here, I'm going to see what it does before I move my order. But I may just drop my order in there. And we could make a double top right here and turn down and be over and make another leg down. But I really like this to the upside right now. And like I said, this was a really surprising move right here. And some of you might have got caught short right here. It was really tempting to reverse and go short right here after a bearish move like that. But as you see, we never really got a setup. You don't want to go short below either one of these two bars, because if you did, you see what happened. And then this had this long stem, so you didn't want to go short there. You might have considered going short below that one, but it never triggered. Instead, it triggered long, so there was actually a chance to get long again here, but it was a little risky getting long that close to the EMA, because you don't know that it's not going to tick up and trap you and then turn down. So this thing is really moving along here. But if we stall right here, I may go ahead and drop my limit order down or move my stop up and just exit this trade. But I really expected resistance there, because that's the highest we've closed so far. Just to be on the safe side, I'm going to just tighten my stop. Worst we can do now is make a couple of ticks off this last 2 contracts. And normally I may not tighten it that quick, but for demonstration purposes, I don't want this trade to go on forever. So so we'll just hold tight for now. Well, not much to comment on here, so I'm we're probably going to get stopped out of this one, but that's okay. Again, I don't want this to go on forever. And I still, even if we come back here, it still wouldn't surprise me if we go a little higher as well still. So But maybe they'll protect this low and we'll work higher from there. Come on, buyers. Let's do this. Let's just see if we can go ahead and get our point out of the last two. Make this a $500 trade. But I'd encourage you just to go back later today and see what happened here. if if we get out on our limit order here, to see if prices went higher or not. All right, bounce up one more time. Here we go. All right, we made $500 on that trade minus our commission. So, and like I said, it wouldn't surprise me to see it tick down here and trap everybody and then shoot on up. I'm looking for something similar to this move, but there's just so much resistance up here. As you see, you got this level and then that level. So actually, if we get a measured move off this move, we're going to test this high right here. And so that's why I really, if this wasn't a demonstration that I wasn't trying to demonstrate and I was just going and I was actually trading, I probably would have left my stop at break even, maybe moved it to break even +1 by now, and then just held my limit order up here and let it work its own, let it work itself out. And that's really the way you should probably manage that trade. But I don't want to sit here for 30 minutes or an hour recording prices chopping around in a 4-tick range, and that's what's. It's been. We're getting a lot of that, and you see over here what we had here. This was really, really surprising. We did. I wasn't sure if this was the trend line right here, or if this was the trend line. If that's the trend line, we never tested the high, but maybe that's what we're trying to do now. But I'm almost thinking this was the trend line, and we got our break, and you see there's 2 legs up to a new high, and then we sold off, and this was kind of a important area right here because we made a double top. Nothing closed above that, so that's as good as a double top with a little trap there. But I didn't see this big move coming down here. Notice how everything's been choppy. We had one nice little move up right after the open, but we haven't really had a lot of big moves. So when this thing shot off down through here, it really kind of caught me off guard, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. But you don't argue with the market. Just stay out of the way. Either if you didn't get short, stay out of the way and wait for your setup. And I was tempted to get along right here off this doji, but we're not that far away from the EMA. But when this thing shot down here and got way down here, the EMA at that point was probably still way back up here. And so this was just too tempting. And when it ticked lower, I didn't even wait for it to go higher. I just had a limit order right there. We had this across here, and then the closes were here, so I figured at the very least I might take a point against me or something, and you can see that it went 1 tick against me, just enough to enter me into the trade. And it took a minute, but then it reversed, and it was uphill all the way. But again, I got caught off guard right here, and I let them shake me out of this thing. I almost let them shake me out right here, but I decided to give it some more room. And then when we had this little doji right here, it really struggled. It jumped up there several times, and they beat it back down. And that I let them shake me out right there, and I took my profit right here, unfortunately. And so I missed that nice little move. But you just see, I just made that same move back right there. And we may make a high here now, and rain. Since it's kind of a range day. You could put that range right across there, and you catch a lot of the highs and closes right there. We could turn down right there, but I still think we have a chance to test this high and maybe even that other high where I had this previously off of the two overnight highs right there. So I'm gonna leave that there, and then I got this kind of there as a um, possible minor high at this point. Um, so that's what I'm looking at. Hopefully you enjoyed the little trade example. And again, it just shows you, all I did was scalp, a point out of that on a few contracts, but it was an easy $500. And sometimes you get lucky and you get a move like this or a move like that, and sometimes you don't. This is a fairly obvious entry. It's a second entry long off a double bottom at the EMA. And you notice we didn't really have any closes below that area right there. It ticked down there a couple of times, so that's a nice double bottom. And so you're expecting we're going to at least test this high and probably test the next couple of highs, and that's exactly what happened. And we may go higher yet, so we'll just have to see what happens. But I'm going to wrap it up. Hope you enjoyed the trade example. This will probably serve as our chart lesson for today. Let me just show you a couple of more entries. The open was right in here. Again, we had this trend line working up through here. This is a nice bounce off the trend line, second entry long. It was a little bit close to these highs, but because it's the open and it failed to go lower and then bounce right off the trend line, that was okay to enter there if you did. This was a breakout pullback long. This is a nice measured two-legged move back to the trend line. Possibly could have been right to the trend line, but even so, it could have been a small break, and it set up nicely. Again, that's a nice measured two legs, and there's actually two legs in that leg, but this is a measured leg to that one. And so that's a second entry long right there, and it was off to a new high, and then we made a second leg up. I really didn't like entering here. I don't like that setup, and you see it didn't go far before it sold off. And look, we did tick lower here. Let's see if we're going to bounce and go higher again, or if that's going to do it. We'll just have to see. I suspect that we probably just trap some shorts now and probably go higher, but we'll see. And you could have shorted this one because this little doji up here at the very high, but it's not smart shorting these highs because we could have easily gone a little higher. There was a second entry short here. And then the real thing was there was a failed second entry long right here that trapped longs. And so when we turned back down, you could have gone short right here. It was a little bit suspect because there wasn't much room down here. And you see it didn't go very far before it bounced. But when it bounced right there and turned up and then instantly turned out at the EMA, there was a great breakout pullback short. And you should have been thinking, I was thinking we were going to go down to here, but it just went through there like, it didn't even really check up there hardly. It bounced a little bit right there, and they just continued to work it lower. And so you had to be thinking somewhere in here I'd like to get long if I get the opportunity, if nothing else, just for a scalp. But at this point, it really wasn't sure if we were going to make another leg down like this or if we were going to just continue to trend lower. So if you didn't go long here, that's okay, because this is not this is a great setup if you understand price action. But if you're not really good at it, this was a little bit risky. But there was a second entry long here, but then again, you don't have a lot of room back to the EMA, and it's going to pull back from there at least temporarily, if nothing else, and it did. And then you had a chance to go long right here. And again, it's not a great setup, but it there's the idea that we're probably going to get another leg equal to this one, but we way overdid that. So, and what you should have been thinking was prices are going to come back and test these breakout areas right in here like they did, that we didn't test when we came through, because prices generally come back. So I should have been thinking that we were going to come back, but when we stalled right there, I thought we were going to test that and turn back down. And, but no, we came on back. You generally will come back and test these important breakout areas before the day's over, and generally you'll test them quicker than that. And they just oversold this, and then we rocketed back and tested it, and now we're trying to go even higher. So we'll see what happens, but I'm going to wrap it up. Again, if you want to, go back after the end of the day and see how this ended up working out. If we could have got more money out of this, if we'd have stayed with our break even or break even plus one stop there, and just kind of see how it would have played out. But a lot of times people ask me, do I always tighten my stop that quick? I usually will go to break even after scalping out part of my trade, half to 2/3. at least to break even or break even plus one. But I don't normally start tightening it that quick unless I think I was wrong and it's done. Normally I will continue to give it that room because there's a good chance we're going to bounce right here again and go higher, and you don't want to miss out on that. And so it's worth the risk, and that's why we keep runners. Is otherwise we just scalp out completely. But we keep the runners in the hopes that we're going to catch a big move, like this big move right here, and make some money. So, and if you start monkeying with a trade, you'll do like I did and make a mistake and get out too early right in here instead of just letting it go. I'd have been better off just to tighten my stop to right there, because you see it never triggered, or either tighten it to there or there or there, and then I wouldn't have got stopped out till right there, almost the very high. So there's better ways to manage your trade than what you will always see me do in the demonstrations, because here we are at 20 minutes and the trade's been over for a little while. So I guess I could have continued to let it go, but I didn't want this video to get this long really. So, but anyway, I'm going to wrap it up because it is getting long. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.